Hales again will throw again. Third down, deep ball down the sideline into the end zone. It is caught by Dillard for a touchdown. Central Arkansas, a perfect pass over the shoulder, 31 yards into the hands of Jakari Dillard. A great throw and catch. Hales to Dillard for 31, and the Bears take the early lead.
All right, welcome in. Pizza Ranch at Conway. That was the way it started, and the Bears didn't let up until they built a big lead, and they rolled to a 38-17 victory over Northwestern State on Hall of Fame night. And, Coach, it was great to see one of your own get inducted in, and, boy, there were a lot of Bear greats that went in as part of that class, including one of the all-time leading tacklers. But for Coach Collins, it was obviously a very special day, and boy, it was most important to him, I'm sure, to get it done on the field, and you guys did that too.
Well, it was an exciting weekend. Dr. Teague and his staff always put together a great weekend on Hall of Fame weekend. It's there's a lot of festivities surrounding that weekend. Obviously, the most important thing to us as coaches are the game, and I think Coach Collins would echo that. And just a well-deserving moment for him and his family, for him to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, last time we won a national championship, he was the starting quarterback and had a great career there. And then obviously to cap it off with the win against Northwestern State just was the cherry on top of the weekend. So real pleased for Coach Collins and his family, but man, it was huge to get another conference win, and especially on the Stripes.
No doubt about it. Bears improved to 5-2 and 4-1 overall. It was a great way to hold serve for the Bears, and it was a wild night in the Southland Conference for those who weren't paying attention, and really not just in the Southland, but nationally. A lot of ranked teams went down, some on the road, some at home. McNeese falls. Thank you very much. Sam Houston State also goes down. So there is a three-way tie at the top now at 4-1 with Central Arkansas and Incarnate Word. And the McNeese State game we knew was going to be a big one anyway, Coach. It becomes that much bigger because somebody's going to be forced out of first place after Saturday.
Yeah, that game is historically, at least since I've been a part of this program, since we've made this Division I jump, UCA McNeese has always seemed to have some type of implications, whether it be conference title on the line, playoff positioning, whatever it is. And it's two great programs, two historically great programs, that just battle it out every year. So, we knew it was going to be a big game. That's a game you obviously circle on your calendar when you look at your schedule each year. And then we know that obviously the task at hand when you have to go to Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's a tough task in itself. They're still, even with the loss, I think that came out, they're still ranked 14th or 13th in the polls. And so there's a lot of respect still for that program and what they're doing. And it's going to take a great effort, in all three phases of the game to beat those guys on Saturday.
I'm going to say this tonight, and I'm going to say it tomorrow, and I'm going to say it on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Need a huge contingent of Bear fans. I want to see a lot of purple at McNeese on Saturday because it's a huge game. It's a tough place to play. It's going to be cowbells all over the place. Their fans are very passionate. It's a tough environment anyway. Our fans have traveled really well this year, but I want to see a big contingent of purple and gray on Saturday. Cannot encourage fans enough. If you're going to take a road trip this year, this is the one.
Well, and it's a neat experience. I mean, if there's a place other than obviously the Stripes at Estes Stadium to go experience in this conference, is the whole at Lake Charles and McNeese State. So it's a great atmosphere. They have really, to me, it's and I mentioned it earlier when we were visiting. I mean, to me, it's a smaller version of what LSU fans are like. I mean, that's what Baton Rouge is and what they're known for. Well, Lake Charles is similar to that at our level of football. So it'd be a great experience if you haven't been there as a Bear fan. But obviously, our players feed off purple and gray, and the more bodies and fans we've got in the seats is obviously that's going to be a big momentum thing for our players.
No question about it, and we'll talk more about that matchup as we go on through. Let's continue to celebrate the win from Saturday, though, Coach. Let's start with the defense because, again, they deserve so much credit. Just 264 yards given up. There was a late play that added to that total. But how about over the last 2 weeks, folks? This defense has allowed 12 yards, total. That's it, over 2 games combined. That's not right. That's amazing. This team is playing at a high level, and every week they're getting better. The defensive side was pretty scary on Saturday.
Well, we've done a great job the last 2 weeks making Stephen F. Austin, Northwestern State, one-dimensional. Obviously, stopping the run, in 2 weeks, holding them 12 yards rushing is huge. And, if we can do that, and I said this last week, if we can do that with the talent we've got on the defensive front with pass rushers, you're going to have to throw the ball. We get a touchdown or 2 lead. Then those guys pin their ears back, and they're hard to block. And so that's been big. I think they're getting more and more comfortable with Coach Thurman. Coach Thurman does a few more fronts, a few more stunts, a little more aggressive in his play-calling mentality than maybe what they were used to with Coach Stewart. So as we continue to progress through this season, as we continue to mature with Coach Thurman and his system, you see us getting better and better every week. And I've said it all along, our defense is the strength of this team, and they're playing like it the last 2 weeks.
Epler, their outstanding quarterback, came in as the most efficient quarterback in the league, and he did not make the trip, was in the concussion protocol. Their backup, Holgerson, was knocked out of the game. And so their third-string guy, who they really like, long-term, he's still kind of figuring it out in the passing game. Great running threat. You guys really hem things up, but it seems like every week there's a quarterback story, and whether it's your guy or their guy, either somebody doesn't make the trip, somebody gets hurt. And in this case, it's kind of like Sam Houston, not real sure what to prepare for.
Well, I was visiting with RJ before the game. We were talking about personnel and doing a little pregame talk and some different things. And the first thing that came to my mind was Sam Houston State. You prepare for a quarterback all week. You prepare for what that number one guy does well, getting the ball to what receivers and how he drops and maybe where his weaknesses are. Well, then the unknown happens. He doesn't make the trip. It's similar to the Sam Houston week, man. The unknown happened. Their starter didn't play, and they brought in a backup who obviously did a great job against us. So that has me as a head coach nervous. I was over there like, golly, what do we do? Our history with backup quarterbacks aren't great. Coach Thurman just looked at me and laughed, said, hey, we're going to get it done. And that's the mentality he has, and I appreciate that. And I thought those guys handled it up well. I think knocked Holgerson out. I think he went out with an injury, and then they had to bring in their third-team guy. And, we were able to contain him because he had a lot of ability to run the football, and we were able to, keep him hemmed up for the most part all night.
Yeah, and again, got off to a great start. TDs on 3 of the first 4 drives, 4 of the first 6 drives overall. And, I just want to stay with the defense for a second. Some of the numbers are just astounding, and it's going to get tough down the stretch here. We talked about it last week on the show. You said, I don't feel like there's a dominant team in the league. It's wide open every week. And, man, you see the teams you're facing. Maybe before the season, a lot of fans were thinking, oh, cool, Incarnate Word. Oh, great, Abilene Christian at the end of the year. Well, look what they're doing. Yeah. That is a tough schedule ahead. And, oh, by the way, Lamar coming in here. Better be prepared for one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks you're going to face this season. I mean, there is so much to deal with week by week in this league. It's really the first time we've seen this kind of parity, I think, Coach.
Well, the depth of this league is phenomenal. I mean, and I said it back in the summer. Just you looked at the personnel, you looked at some of the coaching changes at the that maybe at least the recent history of the lower tier programs. So anytime you have a coaching change, you're going to have excitement. You're going to have a new rejuvenated energy, and you can see that happening. You can see that happening at the with Lamar, with Incarnate Word, with Abilene Christian, and those teams are going to be tough. It's going to be a fun 4 weeks, but that doesn't mean it's going to help me sleep at night, and it's going to be stressful, and we're going to have to play well, but I think our guys are up to that challenge.
Holgerson looking right, under pressure, throws late, and it is intercepted by Rochelle. Rochelle on the clutch, double clutch by Holgerson, cost him. It gave him time to react, and Rochelle dives in, makes a rolling interception. A beautiful play, and the Bears are right back in business in Northwestern State territory.
All right. Great pick by Robert Rochelle. That was a lot of fun, and set up a scoring drive for the Bears. And, just a little heads up, and I said this later in the broadcast, heads up to quarterbacks. I'm not a quarterback coach by any means, but if you're going to pump fake a guy, don't throw it to the guy that's standing still out in the flat, because that doesn't work out very well. But Robert made a great play on that, Coach. Seriously, it was a heck of an interception.
He did. I'll tell you, Robert Rochelle is as talented a corner as we've ever had here, and I'm not saying that in a light version. I think his potential is out of this roof. He's 6'1", he's long. He's probably one of the 1 or 2, maybe 3 fastest guys on the team. He's only a sophomore, and he's a guy that 2 years down the road, you could be saying in the conversation as Trey Smith, having a chance at the next level.
Well, that would be exciting, and a guy who's also had a lot of success in his career here, Conway product Matt Cummins, joining us tonight on the Nathan Brown Show. And Matt, good to have you with us, buddy.
Good to be here.
So, it's interesting. We've talked as much about PATs and field goals this year as we have about another weapon that people take for granted, and that's your ability to kick the ball in the end zone. And, we look around the league, and it seems like every time we look at the numbers on the opposing team, either a kicker has just a couple or very few or maybe none as far as touchbacks go. What have you done as far as strengthening your leg and being able to do that a little more consistently?
Really just in the offseason. I did a lot of, focus on certain muscles. They always – throw us in, heavy squats, doing all that. That's what everybody thinks kickers need to do. But I was out of town for a month, and I wasn't with Fodio and everything. And he told me just, hey, get that leg, get the glutes and your quads as strong as you can. So I was in the gym just hitting those leg extension machines. I was the only one there, and really just kind of coming at the ball with a different mentality too. You know, that John Daly kind of mentality. You know, I'm gonna hit it hard. I'm gonna hit it far. You know.
Yeah. You don't have to grip it, but you do rip it.
A little bit,
yeah. Yeah. You know, I guess as far as the success this season has shown, I mean, you guys are getting better week by week. What are you seeing from your perspective?
We just love playing for each other. You know, I've been on a lot of teams that are good, but I've never been on a team kind of like this. The attitude is different. You know, I get to see a little more from the kicking side. I'm not on the field all the time, but man, we just care about each other. We're out there grinding, and you know, when things go bad, you know, we're not getting in our heads. We're not doing anything. We're just playing the next play, like Coach Brown tells us to, and we go out there and something just goes good for us, and we make it happen. So.
Once you've done it, I mean, physically, obviously, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about the mental side of it with your position. How do you prepare for that? How do you try to rep mentally and get yourself right for a game? Knowing, you know, again, this year especially, you've had to deal with a lot of different things conditions-wise.
Yeah. It's just like you said. Once you've done it, you know you can do it. So it's really just not stressing about it. My kind of ideology on that is when you think about something too much, it's gonna go wrong. So I just kind of go into it like I trust Reeve and Will with my life down there, and you know I don't worry about what those guys are doing because I know the ball's going to be there, and I know I'm going to kick it, and I know it's going to go in. So
I like that. That's good. Well, so far it's gone in most of the time. That's for sure. You know, something interesting the other day, and there were a couple rules I want to ask about, Coach, but one of them was there was a kick that was edging towards the sideline. Yeah. Guy caught it as he was going out of bounds.
Mad, man.
Yeah, and they ruled against you guys, and I didn't see much of a fight on the sideline from the coaching staff. What's the ruling on that? How does that work?
So if the player catches the ball with 1 foot inbounds and 1 foot out of bounds, and they're in place at the same time, then it's considered an out of bounds kick. So if you watch that kid, he was obviously coached if this ball's close because he knows we're a deep right kicking team, and we coach our kick returner the same way. If it's close. If there's doubt in your mind, then go catch the ball and have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and it's going to draw a flag on the kicking team.
But if you catch it with both feet in and then step out,
you're out. You're done. You're out. You're on the 2-yard line.
Boy, you better get that one right.
No question. I'll tell you, there's some skill involved in it, and that kid did a great job. I mean, it was perfect, and it was one of those deals where you just tip your hat to him.
Okay, yeah, that's frustrating. So Matt, is that what irritates you more, missing a kick or does that kicking it out of bounds on a kickoff? That seems like
missing a kick way worse.
Okay,
I want to put points on the board and. You know, if I kick it out of bounds, I get it to 40. But, you know, our defense is pretty dang good, and I'm not worried about that.
So yesterday in the NFL, like, again, we saw a little bit of everything. You saw a guy hit a kick that was right around 60 yards to win a game.
Yeah.
And then we saw a guy who he's literally never missed an extra point, an extra point to cost him the game.
Justin Tucker.
Which is I'm rooting for the Saints, so I was happy about that. I just don't understand how you guys do it. It's such a crazy position, and there's so much that goes into it. But, I mean, what goes through your mind when you see those kinds of things happen?
Anything can happen, you know. Kicking is a strange world. Not a lot of people understand it. You know, I don't feel like a lot of kickers understand it. It's just there's little things that can go wrong that no one else will see that we will, and you know, it's just strange.
Yeah. And another play I was going to ask you about too, and I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't think the Southland monitors the show, so I think you can be honest. But there was a running into the punter. I know which one
you're going to ask.
Well, and again, I don't know
2 weeks in a row.
I don't know if you got to bust out a weapon or what you have to do to get a roughing the punter anymore. Well, you just don't see that called very often. It's almost always seems like not just against the Bears, but any time it's called running into, and I guess we become a world of optimists where we're just taking things lightly on that one. But I don't know what you have to do. And is there a clear-cut designation in the rules?
Well, there is, and with the state of football, you would think that they would overly protect the kicker, kind of like the quarterback, but it doesn't seem to be working that way. And I actually, we sent that play in, and we're going to get an explanation from the Southern Conference officials. But the actual explanation that was given to me, if the player runs into the kicking leg of the punter, in other words, in our case, Taylor Wallace kicks with his right leg. If you run into that right leg, even when it's up, it's a running into the kicker. If you run into the plant leg, which is his left leg, so I guess if you come down lower and you end up in that plant leg, that's whenever it becomes roughing.
Okay. Real quick, as we got about 45 seconds left here, Matt, not to put you under the gun here, but obviously pressure's no problem for you. You get all the blame and you get all the credit on the kicks, but there's a symbiosis between you and the snapper and the holder.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just talk about that before we let you go here?
It's all timing. I got with Reeve and Will early in the summer and, just started repping timing, just so, like, if there is a mess up, we can fix it. Even our slowest times are still faster than a lot of guys I've seen on film, which is I've never had that. So I mean, it's all chemistry, and I trust those guys with everything. Like we had a little snafu earlier in the season, but we got it fixed, and we've been running and gunning since then. So
good luck this week. Thanks for the time. All right, Matt Cummins, everybody.
Inside out across the 45, inside the 50, 45, still on his feet at the 40. 35, 30, fighting with a defender inside the 25, on his feet at the 20, still going at the 15. Are you kidding me, Gosnell Express? What a run! Oh my goodness, he would not stop churning his legs.
All right, welcome back. And Carlos Blackman joining us tonight. And, Carlos, it's interesting. I had a chance to talk to two NFL greats who seemingly ran for contact. You don't always look for contact, but when you do, you make the most of it. And you threw down a defensive lineman at the end of that run. So kudos to what's been a great start to the season for you. It seems like you're having a lot of fun out there.
Thank you, sir. I'm just having fun and doing what my coaches teach me to do, and that's play ball.
Well, it's interesting because Coach Brown was telling me today that a lot of your stuff is not teachable. And thankfully you were blessed with some gifts that most of us will never be able to learn how to make happen. But from last year to this year, and obviously you had a lot of success last year, what did you work on in the offseason? It sounded like you got stronger, and some of your work in the weight room was sort of legendary.
Yeah, I mean, just grinding every day, not skipping a rep, get every rep. And 40 tells us that if you skip a rep, you're only cheating yourself. So you just don't skip a rep and work hard, and you'll see the results.
Was there something you wanted to be better? Did you say, okay, I want to be faster, stronger? Was there something or everything?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to be faster, so I got with Fodio and asked him some workouts. He told me some, but I still wanted to get stronger while doing that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like overall I did all of it.
Yeah, well, it's apparent. I mean, you can definitely tell you're faster. Do you guys have you done 40s? I mean, do you guys do timing on that? I mean, year to year. I mean, do you have any idea like how much faster you are year to year?
Nah, I mean, I just feel it out on the field. Feel like I'm moving faster.
Well, it looks like it is to me too. I mean, there's no question. I will say this too. Last year you showed up with a pocket full of candy. Nutrition wise, you take it a little more serious this year?
Nah.
Okay. Still getting away with that. Okay. I didn't know.
Well, some people are blessed where nutrition doesn't really matter. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, his body. I mean, he's probably 6-8% body fat, if that, and it doesn't matter. I mean, he's just God-given, blessed, and that's nice because I'm not.
Yeah. So the offensive line, new guys up there, and it seems like they've gotten better week by week. And you guys have, as the games have worn on, it seems like you guys have had more and more success on the ground. What are you seeing from your position as far as that goes?
The offensive line has gotten a lot better. I mean, congratulate them for stepping up and doing what they need to do to get better, and just having fun and taking the game serious and taking the weight room serious, and all the aspects are coming together. Yeah.
Talking to Carlos Blackman tonight on the Nathan Brown Show. One of the things that we talked about earlier in the year, Kiki was here, and about your room, and it seems like that's kind of the way it is with running backs anyway, but you guys seem to be a particularly tight-knit group. You're obviously fighting for reps, but you're also pulling for each other. It's a unique situation. How would you describe the relationship with you and the other backs?
I mean, it's just like a close brotherhood. Like, we all want each other to win. We all want each other to succeed. So when someone who's not getting a lot of reps get in and do good, it's just exciting to see them doing good like we can.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy because it's been a three-headed monster this year, and this week we saw Derek come off the bench and look like he'd been carrying it all year. You guys excited about that?
Yeah. We've been ready for Derek to get in there and get his legs moving and show him what he can do.
It's interesting. There are three guys, and Coach talked about this at the Little Rock Touchdown Club today, three guys from UCA that are on active NFL rosters. And I've watched a lot of great guys come through here, Coach. I mean, there have been some really, really good ones who have run the football for UCA over the years. But I never looked at a guy and thought, this guy's got NFL potential at running back. It's a tough club to break into at the NFL level. But Carlos, and what we see in you, and I think I'm hearing this more and more from people, that there's NFL potential there. Is that something that's entered your mind a little bit? I mean, you got a long way to go in your college career. We don't want you to leave early or anything, but I mean, is that something that you think about? And do the guys that you've worked or played with before, does that inspire you a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was just on the game with Trey before I came up here, and he's just telling me about how I need to stay focused and just keep grinding, and that my opportunity will come. And, I just keep doing what I need to do and playing how I need to play.
Madden, what are we playing?
We were on Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, okay.
Yeah. That's 2 weeks in a row.
I think Kiki said that he was on, or somebody else was on there.
Who was it? I can't remember now. It It was
Okay.
Trey Mosley, Timo.
Okay, there
Yeah,
you go.
Timo was on with him.
So this is what we're doing. Okay.
It sounds like Trey's doing a lot of work, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So this NFL life's pretty good. I mean, maybe things aren't that much different than they were in college. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I want piggyback on that question. Just Carlos is he's got the rare ability of being the total package. One thing a lot of people don't see, and you saw it for the first time this year was his ability to catch the ball too.
Right.
I mean, he's got phenomenal hands, and really the play that I probably appreciate the most because it shows improvement from one week to the other. He got the onside kick with our hands team. He attacked the ball, a great catch to kind of seal the game off against Northwestern State that we weren't able to do at Stephen F. Austin the week before. But NFL scouts come into our place weekly, and one guy that they talk about is Carlos, and he's on everybody's radar. And the cool part about him is what do people look for at running back at the next level? They look for guys that don't have a lot of tread life on them. And Carlos didn't redshirt. He's still a young guy, so when he comes out of here, he'll be 21, 22 years old, and that's what NFL guys are looking for. So, he'll get 4 great years here. I think he's right there at 2,000 yards now. He's going to rewrite the record book with touchdowns. So, everything's trending in the right direction, but he's got to stay humble and he's still got to stay hungry, and that's our job as coaches to continue to push him.
Yeah, you still got 4 games left this year in the regular season, hopefully some playoff games as well, and then a whole nother season. Already in the top 10 in total touchdowns for rushing, so things are going awfully well. What do you see as, after going through the process last year, you guys put yourself in a great position. Unfortunately, didn't make the kind of run we were all hoping for. What'd you learn from that? What do you hope to be able to do differently this year to make a playoff run?
I mean, I take all losses as lessons, like lessons learned. I mean, the team last year, that some of the guys that returned, they know how I feel to lose. I mean, we underestimated our opponents, and I feel like this year we are hungry and we know what we have to do to win.
Yeah. Well, in the Southland this year, there's nobody you can overlook, it looks like. It's been a wild run so far, and I know you knew at the beginning of the season and every week after that you can't overlook McNeese. So what kind of challenge do you expect this week down there? Haven't seen them in a couple of years.
I mean, that is a tough environment to play in, but I like it. I like the environment down there. I mean, when I went down last time I played there, it was a good game, and I like how their fans are interacted in the game. But our team, I think we feed off that kind of energy.
Yeah. We need to get some Quiet the Cowbells T-shirts made up for the week, I think. That'll be the key this week. Well, good luck down there. Oh, one thing before we let you go, since you're the candy expert. Halloween's coming up. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I personally like Sour Patch Watermelon the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sour Patch Watermelon. Very good. Whatever it takes.
We'll have to get him a
Maybe
bag.
that's what I've been missing, Coach. If I'd have been eating on those all these years, who knows?
I'll know what to get him for pregame meal now.
Good luck this week, Carlos. Thanks, man. All right.
Thanks.
Good stuff. Carlos Blackman. Very good. We get another highlight showing the versatility we talked about. He's complete back, Coach. The touchdown catch this week, that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, that's a play that we've been working on. It's a kind of a screen play that we work on every week, and we got the right defense to call it, and Carlos executed. The offensive lineman got out in front of him, and he was able to get in from, I believe, 20, 25 yards out. So it was a big play in the game the other night.
So, as a coach, do you like going down in an environment like that? You already talked glowingly about the environment. I mean, it's obviously a great college football atmosphere, but do you like going on the road and playing in those hostile environments? Is that fun?
I do, because it's not hard to motivate your team. Anytime you play in a big game, I told the guys Sunday night, actually, after we clean up the game from Northwestern State, we have a team meeting. And I told the guys, this is why you come to UCA, to play in games like this. You've earned the right for this game. You've earned the right. Like, you look at across the country, there's probably 20% of teams at the FCS level right now that are still playing for something, whether it be a conference championship or the playoffs. And we're still in that mix. And we're sitting back at the top, looking down at everybody. And now it's our job for the next 4 weeks to put our best product on the field and go play them. And the first road bump in that deal is McNeese, and that's why these guys come to UCA, is to play in football games like this. We don't come here to play in average football games or games that don't mean anything. I mean, when you're playing for something, when Halloween and Thanksgiving's here, then that's awesome, and these guys understand that, and I think they're excited for the challenge.
Well, because of what happened last weekend and because of the work you guys have done so far, you do control your own destiny. Having an opportunity to play Incarnate Word and McNeese State, still the two teams that are tied with you at 4-1 in conference play. We talked earlier today about making sure you take care of business. Interestingly enough, you only have to go to last season to look at a lesson. McNeese went 9-2.
Yes.
Their losses were to Nichols, went to the playoffs, and you guys went to the playoffs, and they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously, key that you guys continue to control your own destiny.
Yeah, and we I told you earlier. I think you to assure yourself a spot is get the automatic bid.
Right.
Win out, we'll go 9-2, and things will work out because you'll have sole possession of the Southland Conference title, and you don't want to go 8-3 and maybe get in a 3-way tie or be have a chance of being at large bid. Obviously, with our athletic director Dr. Teague being on the committee, actually chair of the committee. Hopefully he can go in there and fight for us if it gets to that. But you don't want to let it get to that point. Our job is we want to win a ring. Our first goal when we talk about goals to start the season is to win a Southland championship, and that's our first goal. It's not talking about the playoffs. It's not talking about a national championship. Win the Southland Conference, and so we still have that opportunity at hand, and that's what's exciting at this point.
Offense 222 on the ground. We talked about Carlos, 84 from him. Fernandez, great game, 59 yards for him, and Kier had a long run, 50 yards for him. A lot of explosive plays for your team. When you look at 222 on the ground and 278 through the air, you like the balance? I
do. And again, it goes down to what's the defense giving us? How are we going to win the football game? Luke threw 5 touchdown passes. I don't expect that every week. It happens because of the way we call plays. They wanted to load the box. Our receivers made some plays down the field, and that's just kind of the flow of the game. To me, balance is about doing what it takes to win the football game. I don't care whether we have to throw it for 350 or rush it for 350. It's about doing what it takes to win. And I'll tell you what, offensively, we're slowly but surely kind of figuring out what this Luke Hale's offense looks like. With Braylon, you could be a little more, let's wing it out, let's do what, let's open it up and all those things. Luke's a little different. Luke's a smart kid, but he's still learning and understanding what we're trying to accomplish. And big plays made by guys like Carlos and Jakari and Brandon Myers and Lester Wells helps him, through that process. So there was a lot of plays left out there. I thought we could have took that game out of hand a lot quicker the other night. And I told the guys the other day, great teams figure out a way to get better even in wins.
Yeah.
Wins cover up a lot of stuff.
Right.
It's easy to try to figure out how to get better when you lose. But when you win, if you're improving, then that's how championship teams are made.
You said you don't expect 5 touchdowns from him every week.
Well,
every other week.
Every other week. But,
okay.
Well, we need it to be every week this week. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's amazing, and again, just a testament to the kid being ready when his time comes, and we talk about that. He's a great example to a lot of young players. You don't know when your time's going to come, and there's no way Luke Hales thought that he was even going to step on the field this year, and it works out the way it has. And I'll tell you what, it's been amazing. It's been fun to watch, and a lot of the testament and glory goes to him. But Coach Collins has done a great job getting him prepared and ready each week. And then when you have the offensive line playing better and better each week, running backs running like we are, and then a defense making them one-dimensional and giving you opportunities. I mean, it's a total team effort.
Yeah, another Arkansas native. A lot of in-state guys making big-time plays. We talked to a couple of them already tonight, and certainly Luke Hales has done a good job. Interestingly enough, 12 completions last week, 5 went for touchdowns.
Yeah.
He averaged 23 yards a completion and he's over 8 yards per attempt on the season, which is top 20 in the FCS.
Yep.
And I do want to say Jakari had a great game. 4 catches, 109, 2 touchdowns for him, and now he leads your team with 6 touchdowns on the season. He's been, a guy that you knew was a threat, but he's really having a breakout senior year here, Coach. Were you expecting him to have a big year?
I've been so pleased with Jakari, and yeah, of course you expect him to. He's a senior, and he's got experience. He was one of our more experienced receivers coming back going into the year. And he's always had big playability. With his size, he's a tall kid with some good size on him. He runs great routes, but man, he is really overachieving. He is just playing really good football. He's someone that really has turned into a number 1 receiver, and not that we didn't expect that, but it's just it's fun to watch the maturation process of our guys. And I'm telling you, Jakari is a good example of it. Lester Wells is a great example of it. There's just unselfish guys that when their name's called, they've made the most of it, and that's just the culture of UCA football.
You said that after week 1 that people would sort of change things the way they approach Luke Hales. We keep seeing teams load the box and
Yes.
they pay the price for it. Not a high completion percentage because of the difficulty of those one-on-one matchups, but when you do complete them, you're making teams pay. You anticipate seeing that the rest of the year?
Yeah, that's what we're going to see. You're going to continue to see that. And we're playing really good defense. As a matter of fact, McNeese is one of the best defenses in the country.
Right.
Much less the Southland. They stop the run. That's what they master in. I think they're giving up 91 yards rushing a game, and that's top 10 in the country. So that's something that we're going to continue to see, and it can be frustrating within the course of a game to take 2 and 3 yard runs, but then all of a sudden Carlos will bust out a 40-yarder like he did. So stuff like that is what we've got to continue to do to continue to win.
Or he'll catch a pass and take it 25 yards for a touchdown, as he did on Saturday.
That works too.
Let's go back to that play, and we'll head into the break with it and come back and talk a little more about the matchup with McNeese as we continue on here on the Nathan Brown Show.
Blackman set beside Hales. Hales drops back, drops it off to Blackman at the 25-20. On the move at the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Central Arkansas! Carlos Blackman! At the 15, snap back. Fakes the handoff. Hales throwing into the end zone. Winningham with the catch! Touchdown Central Arkansas! LaJuan Winningham up and over the defender.
All right, welcome back. Here on the Nathan Brown Show, Pizza Ranch in Conway. If you haven't been by, make sure you make a trip up here if you're coming to watch the Bears. A couple more home games, not this week, unfortunately, on the road at McNeese. But 2 more home games in back-to-back weeks after this week, and a lot on the line each and every week. So pop in and grab some grub if you're in the neighborhood. Coach LaJuan Winningham, you've been talking about all season long, and he came through with a touchdown catch. They tried to take it away from him. They went back and looked at it and said, I guess he was in bounds. But it was a heck of a catch there and a really nice throw by Luke.
Yeah, LaJuan's got a chance to be special. To me, he is a number 1 type receiver. He's a young kid, a redshirt freshman, but he's got the length, the size. But one thing that LaJuan possesses is he may have the best ball skills on our team. I mean, he can track a football in the air. And those 50-50 balls, he's as good as I've seen here probably since a guy named Dominique Kroom, to me. And Dominique obviously was a great player here and had a chance in the NFL as well. So LaJuan's got a bright future. We've got to continue to bring in great recruits like him and keep this thing rolling.
We talked about the defense a little bit. 5 players, something we haven't seen in a long time. 5 players tied for the top tackling on Saturday, 4 tackles apiece. I mean, you really spread the love in the tackling department on Saturday. It was good to see a lot of guys get involved. And we were calling names that we haven't called all season. I mean, Morris and Norris both got in on sacks. Yep. I mean, it was great. And then Cardell Best got one, and he was all over the place Saturday too.
Yeah, we're deep. We're deep on defense. We've got a lot of players, and we've actually got players that aren't playing much that you want to play, but we've just got really talented players in that frontline group. And what the fortunate thing was, we were able to, get through, especially through the second half, getting a situation to play a lot of young guys. There on that last drive where we gave up that touchdown, all 4 secondary guys were true freshmen. We were getting them experience. We were getting them opportunity to go out and get their nose bloodied in a real football game. And that was fun to watch those guys. They even giving up the touchdown, it was an opportunity for them to get out using that 4-game redshirt rule. We're taking advantage of that with some guys. So it was neat to watch a lot of young guys get out there and perform on Saturday night.
I'm glad you brought that up. And again, we would think, oh, they've got it all figured out. I mean, it's not as easy to track. Maybe I would think you got a lot of moving parts in a program and a roster. How do you guys work that? And how do you determine? Let's just say, how are you going to get guys in when they can play? With the new rule.
Well, and it's kind of, I look at it, and we were talking about this, funny you asked that. We were talking about it's kind of like being a manager in a baseball game, like the double switch, and then are you going to bring this guy in, to bat 8th for this guy? There's some strategy involved in when to play guys. Has this guy played in 3 games already? Has he played in 4th, or are we trying to redshirt him, or are we just going to go with him, as a true freshman? So there's a lot of talk, and a lot of that goes on throughout the week, leading up to the game. But we were fortunate enough to have 2 or 3 guys there on the back end that have some games left for that redshirt rule that we're able to dress at home that may not usually make a trip on the road, for numbers purposes, but we were fortunate enough to get those guys in.
I know you guys are worried about his wins and losses, but I did want to mention as I was going through the numbers today, Juan Jackson's 4 forced fumbles. He's been stuck there for a couple weeks. He's about due for one, but he leads the nation in forced fumbles, and Rafael Garner has 3. He's tied in the top 10 he's at number 9 right now. And I say all that to say this. You guys are +8 in turnover margin, leads the Southland Conference in top 10 in the FCS. Man, it makes it not easier, but it certainly helps when you've got a lot of turnovers being forced and you guys are taking care of the ball.
Well, that's how you win. You win football games, especially tough college football games, by winning the turnover margin. I think third downs and red zone are important cogs to that deal. But if you turn the ball over and then you turn the other team over and give yourself added opportunities on offense, then usually you're going to win football games. And our defense has been exceptional at that this year. I think we've got 18 turnovers total, 19 total.
19, yeah.
19 total turnovers, and that's tops. One of the tops. That's top 5 in the nation, and that's huge. I mean, that just shows you what kind of mentality you have on defense. You got guys that want to go get the ball, that want to attack the football, that look to strip it, look to intercept it, all those things, and then on offense we're doing a great job protecting it to be +8 at the end of the day.
Yeah, you said you can't go off the script. You're going off my script. I like that. That's
well,
good.
I glanced over there.
Yeah.
You got some good notes.
There's a lot of
man.
numbers in there.
You got some great notes.
As far as there was only really one mistake the other day, Coach. You guys had a little issue at the mesh point, I guess, on the handoff near the goal line that led to one of their very few scores. But what happened there? What did we learn from that?
Listen, I'm gonna take the blame 100% on that. That was a call that sometimes as a head coach you put your foot in your mouth, and I told Collins at halftime he should have strangled me is what he should have done. I didn't want to punt it back to him. Let me set this up. I didn't want to punt it back to him and give him an opportunity because they were taking their timeouts. I knew we probably weren't going to get it up the middle because they were stacking the box and all that. Cedric had an earlier run where he got outside, got 10 or 12 yards, and so in my mind I'm thinking, well, let's go get this ball outside to see if we can go ahead and get that first down and take it to half and get in up 25 points. And I said the play that I wanted to call. Collins kind of, we were in a timeout, or they called a timeout. Coach Collins kind of paused for a minute. He said, "All right, let's go." I should have just took the handoff, an easy handoff. Luke made a read. The defensive end mesh pointed it, and it made it tough on him. And it was just, they got to do better than that. But it was a play call mistake, and it was on me.
They're going to play action this time. Hales throwing downfield, back shoulder, has his man. Touchdown, Central Arkansas. Jakari Dillard did it again. Oh, my. 25-yard touchdown, and the Bears are having their way.
All right, welcome back. 7:54 here on the Nathan Brown Show. We got to get whoever's in charge of the fireworks on the show. They're doing a great job. I mean, you got to work it during the after scores. You got to do it during the national anthem. I mean, that's a really cool thing that adds to the atmosphere at games on the Stripes.
Our game day atmosphere is awesome. I mean, I think Jamie Ashmore and her crew do a great job, with everything from fireworks to video to, and Kai and his group. It's just great. It's a good atmosphere, a fun place to watch a game on Saturday night.
All right, so last year you guys actually were outgained 417 to 323 by McNeese State and rolled to victory. Had a block punt for a touchdown, Jackie Harville, and then also a scoop and score from Chris Chambers. So more than one way to win a game, but again, it's never easy against McNeese. 6-5 all time in the series. It's always been a good rivalry, and you throw a trophy in it, and it just gets that much better. Yeah,
we've actually got the trophy on our staff room table this week just to look at it. It's a big game. It's a neat rivalry. It's something that obviously we take very seriously, and it's going to take a block punt or a score on defense to win games like this. It's huge. You like to think that we'll be able to put 42 points up and Luke will throw for 6 touchdowns and all that, and we're planning on doing that. But it's always nice to get an added bonus from one side or the other.
Okay, quick 2-minute drill, Coach, and then we'll come back and finish up a little more prep on that. Favorite pet you've ever had?
Oh gosh, probably. I'm not a big pet guy, but probably our dog Ralphie.
Oh, the one now?
Yeah, the one now.
What kind of dog?
Long-haired dachshund.
Okay. I'm going to let that go. You have a music guilty pleasure, like something that you like to listen to, but you're not singing it real loud. You don't want people to know you're listening to it. I'll admit it. I like Hanson. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, I was cranking it.
I'm kind of that era pop, when I was in high school and junior high, that pop rap stuff around that time. That's what I grew up on. So.
What do you? The guys are laughing. What do you listen to now?
I listen to it all. I mean, our guys have music on during practice and all that. It's whatever's cool is what I'm listening to.
Do you pass the DJs around to the guys, or who decides what's going to get played? How's that work?
We pass it around a little bit, but our main guy's our equipment guy, Dalton Withrow, does it. So he does a good job.
All right. Maybe next week we'll ask which room has the best music selections, but we won't have time for it today. How about favorite comfort food?
Oh, rice with gravy. Rice with gravy.
Okay.
Yeah, I like rice with gravy.
That's good.
With anything, chicken, steak, whatever it is.
That's good. Well, it's red beans and rice week, so that makes perfect sense.
It makes sense.
That's good. I asked Carlos earlier, what about you? Favorite Halloween candy?
Probably Reese's Pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Reese's
UNET.
Pieces. Yeah.
That's good. All I've got left is like Thanksgiving questions, but I'm going to save those for later. So,
Cool.
If you guys do what this week, you guys will have a good chance to win.
Protect the football. I mean, I think if we don't turn the ball over, we're playing well enough on both sides of the football. If we don't give them any added opportunities on offense, we just play solid defense like we've been doing, and then on offense, make a few explosive plays, but also protect the ball. We'll have a chance to come home with a win from Lake Charles.
This is a team, for those who've not kept up, this is a team that has not been impressive statistically on offense, just under 300 yards a game, which is last in the conference, and 10th in scoring at 21 a game. But on the other side, how about number 1 in total defense and 2nd in scoring defense? And it seems like that's always the case. It's always tough to score in McNeese, Coach.
Well, and Coach Guidry's a defensive coach. He's really their defensive coordinator, and they play with passion on that side of the ball. They call themselves the DWA on defense with attitude, and they play that way. They play with reckless abandon, and it's going to be a great challenge on our offense. And then on defense, we can't look at the statistics. We got to go out and play them. We know they've got talented players. As a matter of fact, they've got one of the best tight ends in the conference, maybe the nation. So we've got to be really prepared on both sides of the football.
All right, one last effort to implore fans. Get down there. It's an easy drive. It's only about 6 hours-ish. No big deal. Let's caravan. I want to see a lot of purple and gray in the stands. It's a big road game for the Bears. They're all big. I count on them back here on the Stripes, but I want to see some folks down in Lake Charles this weekend. And after a win, first round's on Chris Kane. So it'll be a lot of fun. We'll celebrate afterwards. Bring your earplugs, though. Those cowbells can wear on you over a 3-hour ball game. Coach, good luck this week.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be back next week here at Pizza Ranch in Conway with another edition of the Nathan Brown Show. And appreciate you tuning in tonight. We'll join you next Monday. Good night, everybody.